Blended Podcasts. Brought to you by Blended Audio.
So I was at the gym the other day and I saw this guy and he was like so massive, and I was like, yo, how did that guy get so massive? Like, I want to be massive like that, like, you know what I mean? Like, just, yeah, such goals, man, such goals. Like, I mean, I've already got the voice intact, you know, I've got the butchness about me, and now it's just, I just need the body to match it, you know. I think screw this podcast. I think you can do this one without me. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go gym. I'll see you guys.
Yo,
Cheers.
get the hell out of here, man. We don't want no butts in this place anyways.
Yep.
Zack. Oh shit, looks like I'm alone. Well, welcome to Sound Vibes. Nate was waiting for me to do a lame intro. Now can we please have him back? Nate? I knew you wouldn't let me down, brother.
You couldn't do this without me, could you?
No, not a damn.
Absolutely not. Welcome to Sound Vibes, guys. I'm just fresh off my gym sesh, but
Nah.
and I'm feeling pumped. Gonna talk about the stage today again.
Stagecraft.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, okay.
Don't
I'll
do
leave
that.
it to you.
Please.
I'll leave all the buttness in your camp.
Dude, I've got so much butt experience.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm a walking muscle and fitness magazine cover.
Oi, 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 oi.
How you doing, Pat?
Yeah, not as bulked as you,
Ah, dude.
but I'm okay.
You can't get this swole just by sitting there, but
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right. So we're back to continue our discussion about stagecraft because it's
it's like crafting your body.
yeah. Well, we're going to talk a bit about that too, I think, in this episode. Because, yeah, because look, let's face it.
I have no idea what we're doing today. You're running with this.
Dude, like if you want to be on stage and you want to be engaging and active and awesome,
Really?
you have to be fit.
You have to be gig fit.
You have to be gig fit.
Yeah,
But like not just gig fit. Gig fit is knowing your shit. You have to be physically fit as well.
yeah, it's gig fit.
So I'm going to tell you...
I don't know what fitness you're talking about here.
What year was it? I think it was 2016. Iron Maiden was here.
Oh yeah, we had an interview thing with them once back in the BYS days.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Well,
it was our highest rated episode. We got
rad.
we got so many listens, and then we just called quits 2 months later. Oh my word.
Well, anyways, something I took note of when they played here in Cape Town was 2016. They were not young men. However, on stage...
Bruce was just jumping up and down doing jumping
Dude.
jacks on stage, and
I was like thinking, what? None of these guys are under 50. I think some of them are even in their 60s already.
Yeah.
But the way they carry themselves on that stage was as young men.
yes,
So that kind of got me on a like path of thought, and I was thinking somewhere in their career,
Yeah.
something seriously changed. Because if you think about it, when we start doing like music and performance, and when we're young, we often think about this as kind of like a free ticket to a party, like a lifelong party. It's like we get involved in a lot of boozing and like stuff like that, and a lot of stuff which actually physically wears us down. And if we're going to be in this over the long term, I don't know if any of us are going to be as long term as Iron Maiden, but
Sure.
I mean, I've been doing this in one band for 15 years already. So
Wow, you're old.
That's reasonably long term.
you're ancient, man.
Hey.
Dusting off the
Hey,
cobwebs.
watch it, eh? Watch it.
Well, you're not as old as Iron Maiden, but I mean,
Yeah.
shit.
But now think about it. Somewhere in these guys' career, they decided we have to put aside the alcohol and the drugs and whatever the hell else it was, that like, self-indulgent stuff. And like, we need to stay fit and healthy, supremely fit and supremely healthy if we're going to keep on doing this.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying we have to all suddenly go on a strict diet and all that stuff, or maybe we should consider it. I suppose it depends on the individual. But in terms of stagecraft, if you're going to be an effective performer, you have to look after yourself as well. So maybe your boot planning is not the worst idea.
Well, yeah, look, I've only been a boot now for
Like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, but and I only know how to clap gym at 2 boots per minute, and basically it's helping my stage things, and yeah, it's positive, but
Yeah. But I think the point being is, like somewhere along the line, we need to consider eating healthier, drinking healthier, physically being healthier, because when that translates to you being a performer on stage, it will pay back volumes.
I just need to stop smoking.
No.
Let's be real. Like that like from experience.
Yeah.
Smoking, being a vocalist sucks. It sucks. Like once you're hooked into that nicotine cesspool of rubbish, your breathing suffers. You can't do as many laps around the crowd anymore. You can't do as many laps on stage anymore. You can't get out of your bed anymore. You just suckle. Life is terrible when you're a smoker. But I have been, jokes aside, bootness aside, whatever, I have been trying to exercise more and be a little bit more active. And it's been helping, but I haven't put it to the test on stage yet, and I'm hoping to see some dividends. But I say this, and just had a smoke earlier, and I'm immediately only smoking half. I'm trying to like cut down and try and be more fit. And I think it's gonna see dividends.
Absolutely.
I think.
I mean, if you look at what it did for Iron Maiden.
I mean, if Bruce Dickinson is able to do that much acrobatics, and still sing at that high level, and still be a pilot, and still, what do you got? PhD.
I don't know. He's a smart man.
He's a very inspirational, very smart man, and we should all be more like Bruce. But that said, I think the most frustrating thing that I've faced as a frontman has been I want to run on stage, but the stage is too small. So small. So then you end up like, I'm super fit, I'm ready for this. And then you play your local show and you're like, damn it.
Yeah.
So what I try and do is I try and get into the crowd and run around there a little bit and get my jogging on. And, it sounds terrible, but I mean,
look, that is fair and well. But what you also find is that every band that is accustomed to playing smaller stages, that day may come, and indeed for many it has come, where you find yourself on a larger stage.
Like a massive stage.
And what's kind of disheartening to see is when a band gets on that big stage and they don't know what to do with the space.
Well, do you blame them?
No, not really.
When you've given them all this little stage for like the majority of their career coming up, and then next thing you know, you're on this massive stage, you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, granted. But it all comes down to mental preparation. Like, are you mentally prepared for the show? Now, I've played in numerous bands, and oftentimes when we talk about the things that we're going to be doing that we haven't done before, I've often found that the attitude that we start the journey with, or the collective attitude in the room, is like, let's just do what we do.
Right.
Oh man, that's like such a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, just to do what you do. Obviously everyone wants to be in their comfort zone, but you need to grow into these new areas that your journey might be taking you. And you need to grow into it swiftly, because you are being measured when you get up onto that new stage that has like a few meters extra width on each side. And very important, depth. Last week we were talking a lot about a stage as being a 3-dimensional space.
Yeah.
So when you're playing a festival, for example, with a much larger stage, you're not only getting width, but you're getting depth and you're getting height. Now, when we talk about height, probably one of the most significant benefits of a higher stage ceiling actually comes down to lighting.
Really?
Yeah.
How does lighting affect
your stagecraft?
Yeah.
Whoa.
How does that?
Every way possible.
Bro, I'm stupid. I don't know these things.
All right. So when we spoke last week about a stage being a 3-dimensional space, there is actually a 4th dimension.
Oh.
Well, the way I see it, at least.
Are we about to light up a joint? What's going on?
No.
4th dimension?
We're about to light up a stage.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So
Spoken
think
like a true
about
dad.
how your stage and the lighting works. You know, like most gig lighting is very directional. You know, you have spotlights and you have like
Dude, I
lights,
hate those lights because they just shine in your face the whole time. You're like, I can't see my crowd.
but they make you look awesome.
Yeah, probably.
and your crowd can see you, or they cannot. And therein lies the key. We were talking about using the 3-dimensional space as a place where members can highlight themselves or at times sort of melt away into the background.
Yeah.
Now you add the 4th dimension, lighting, and you are exponentially empowered to do more of this exact thing. So
Okay. Okay, I follow.
So think about your stagecraft as your visual presentation. It's more than just the people.
Yeah,
It's the whole environment
it's
and
the
how
feel of the environment.
Yeah, and how that environment functions
Yes.
with you in it.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I get you now.
I had a experience. I forget which year.
It was one of them.
Yeah. But I mean, we've been doing this Wacken metal battle in South Africa since 2013, and I've been privileged enough to be on the panel of judges at the finals for some of those years. And I remember the one year watching, you know, those finalists on the South African finals busy doing their thing, and one of them actually had an exceptional lighting show.
Oh.
And I was like, well, that's unusual, but because it seemed that most of the bands got on stage and just, you know, jammed it out, and whatever was happening with the lights was what was happening with the lights. So it had a very like generic feel about how each band was treated lighting wise. But then I saw this one band on, I'm not going to mention names, I don't want to draw attention or drama because the battle thing is usually quite,
Anyway.
that way. But I went over to the guy behind the desk to inquire about this. I'm like, sure. Well, I couldn't help noticing that this band was a considerable notch above the rest as far as lighting goes. Did they come to you with any special instructions? And the guy was like, no, I've just worked with them a lot, so I know their music really well.
Oof.
And I was like,
Oof.
oh, you know, that's actually such a bummer.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah. You know, it was such a bummer because I thought if this had been the result of some kind of initiative that the band had taken, I would have to find a way to award that.
Yeah, but you couldn't now.
No, I couldn't.
Oh, that's terrible.
So, yeah. So, but the point is not who scored and who won and who did what. The point is it makes a difference to the band's presentation when the lighting is in cohesion with what else is happening on stage.
So basically you're telling me I need to go and get my own lighting engineer.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
Now, we are not at that budget level where we can have the luxury to each time have our own lighting guy.
Nope.
But if you see a fairly large event coming up on your calendar and you can see, well, this is not going to be average club gig. And it's maybe 2 or 3 months before the show. Everything is booked. Typically, whoever's promoting the show, they will already have their tech suppliers in place. They will already have guys earmarked to do certain things, like a lighting technician. So what I've started doing is I've started approaching those tech suppliers and saying, who's your lighting technician? May I contact them? And so we've been doing that.
Cool.
So I think a lot of bands don't feel that this is an area, well, bands at a certain level, they don't feel that this is an area where they really have any say or power. That's not true, necessarily.
Or they just haven't thought of it.
Or they haven't thought of it. Or they've thought of it, but they just haven't had the courage to start having conversations about it.
Or they just felt like it wasn't necessary because I've dealt with that. Trust me, I've dealt with that.
It's absolutely necessary.
Yes.
So, you know, we have found the results to bear much fruit when you speak with a lighting guy before the show.
Yes.
And look, if it's a very experienced guy, you can literally brief him right before you go up. We had that in Romania where, like, I was trying for a while to, like, source through email and whatnot who's the technician, but it was impossible. But once we got there, I could actually approach the lighting guy, and he was happy to be approached, because here's a guy working a whole festival, and to him it starts getting very boring. So he was happy to have a band actually approach him and give him a brief.
Wow.
Because he's like, oh, cool, this gives me something to do.
I wonder if some of the local lighting guys would be as
Absolutely.
enthused. You reckon?
Absolutely. When we played Lamb of God in Joburg, we had a similar experience, because I realized we had actually worked with that same company a couple of years previous at Opikopi.
I like it.
And we had made friends with the lighting guy at that show. So when we saw, it's the same guys, I mean, it was like 4 years later.
Yeah.
But it's the same company. I wonder if the same tech will be on duty. And he was.
Amazing.
And so what we did is we sent him our whole set, recorded out.
Yeah.
So that he had the songs. And, it was only like a few days before. So he didn't have a lot of time.
Okay.
But he at least had some sense of what was going to happen and when. And he made it work for us.
Awesome.
And then when we played another show the following year, you can see a sort of evolution unfolding here.
Yeah.
Then we actually approached a lighting guy who we knew was going to work an event, and we told him, look, dude, we're going to give you a set 2 months in advance, and we're going to give you a bit of extra bucks to spend some time on this. And he did. And that is how you get your fourth dimension of stagecraft.
You've just given me a brilliant idea.
Good. I hope everyone's got a brilliant. I hope lighting guys are like thumping at their skulls saying, oh, these Sound Vibe guys have really caused us a drama now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All 12 of them that are listening.
Yes. That is what I hope, because at the end of the day, it makes our entertainment spaces for everybody so much the better. Okay.
I like this idea. I think I'm going to run with that.
Good.
It's actually given me some lack of insight. I mean, I've always, sort of tinkered with the idea of doing some custom lights for one of my shows, but we've never had the budget for such fanciness.
Look, granted, it will come to a point where it's going to cost money.
Yes.
The more precise you want what you want, the less you can rely on just goodwill, like a basic briefing before a show. I mean, that's fine and well, but that kind of briefing is only going to tell guys, look, on track 3 we only want red ambience, and in track 4 we want, like, right at the end of the song, a big crowd blinder, blah! That's like right before the show stuff. But when we talk about stagecraft and using a 3-dimensional space with a 4th dimension being lighting, you can now plot your stage and say, at this part of the song, we need X member standing literally on the X we've taped on the floor. Because at that time, something's going to happen there.
Yes.
Like a spotlight or a color or something is going to happen at that space. So, like, you plan out your show that way.
I'm going to take this into consideration myself. I think I've actually learned something today. I feel that if I can include this into my production on my side, and I get the guys to go along with it, I think I could probably enhance everything that we're going to be doing.
Not probably. Definitely.
Yeah. And in 2020, my aim is to step it up. I want to step it up major levels. Like, I don't want to be the same place we are this month or next month. I'd rather just bring more and more and more. And this is a great opportunity for me to do that. So thank you, Pat. I came in here today thinking that I was just gonna club some protein and just do some weights here and there, and then maybe listen to you. But now I'm like thinking to myself, wow, thank you. This is very insightful.
Yeah. So now think about the 4th dimension. All this bulk you're adding on. Think of the contours it's adding to your physique.
Oh my word!
Now, if the light hits you from just the right angle.
Oh my word! I add a 4th dimension to my pics, but know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
So, like at this stage in my music career, it's not a career, in my music spectrum space thing, I would love to just play around with more 4th dimensional stuff.
Yeah.
So do you do you have any other suggestions or other things that that I could add, like fourth dimensional stuff? No, because I've already got this lighting thing in my head, but now I want more.
Look, I mean, think about the shows you've watched that have blown your mind the most. What is happening at those shows?
Very expensive lighting rigs.
And more than that, very expensive props.
Yeah.
And backdrops.
Yeah.
And so and so and
Yeah,
so.
backdrops are mammothly expensive.
So look, let's face it, not everyone can go there, but there's going to be some point in your band's development, your career trajectory, where it becomes necessary to go there, because otherwise you're just being boring.
Yeah.
You're just hitting the repeat button.
Yeah, I'm sick of it.
It's like, let's face it, in a small localized scene, your audience is fairly limited.
Yes.
So if you're just repeating the same experience with them again and again, you can't expect to hold their interest.
Yeah.
So you have to be reinventing yourself all the time.
That's
to keep your audience engaged.
I try my best, but it's got to come from not just a visual standpoint. It's got to come from like a performing standpoint, from a musical standpoint. There's so many different things that you can alter and change to keep reinventing yourself and keep staying fresh. But not everybody is so easily convinced of that, and you have to sort of lead the charge.
Or tune them into a certain podcast.
Or make them listen to this wonderful source of information called Sound Vaaibs. They should listen to it. And they should listen carefully.
And obey.
And they should carry on listening.
So look, speaking of more fourth dimensional kind of stuff, look, stage props can be cool. We've seen it used by some bands to great effect.
Yes.
Costume, we've seen used by some bands to great effect.
Yes.
And like combinations of these things.
Yeah.
Doing only one and not the other. I always talk about things as being a wheel.
Yeah.
A spoked wheel. So if we talk about your band as a performance act, if that wheel only has one spoke supporting a rim around a hub, it's a very weak wheel.
Yes.
It cannot perform even one full revolution before it buckles and breaks.
Oh, that's terrible. It's a terrible wheel.
Yeah. If it has two spokes, then, it might make half a revolution.
Get a refund.
Before it buckles and breaks. But now if your wheel has three spokes, think of the structural support. That can perform at least one revolution.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a strong wheel, but it can go places.
Yeah.
If your wheel has like a dozen spokes, now it's tough. Now it can go over bumpy ground. So think about your performance as that. So first thing first is you need music. There's your one spoke. But if you don't have band members capable of performing that music, well, you still only have that one spoke.
Yeah.
So your second spoke is capability.
Yes.
All right. Add a third spoke, and that is, you just said sound, and I think that's key. You can't go up there with crap instruments or crap amps and sound like turd.
Exactly.
So you see where I'm going with this. Add as many spokes to your wheel as possible.
Add as many dimensions.
Stagecraft gives you many spokes that you can employ to make your audience's experience of you better.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to take this knowledge and I'm going to mull it over, and I'm going to try and put this into practice, and I'm going to feed back to you in a few episodes' time. I'm going to be like, hey, so this happened.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes, because I think this has been very much a learning spark in my brain, and I feel that there's gonna come times where I'm gonna be very demotivated to actually push
especially when you start seeing like prices and quotes coming in.
Exactly. And just to do with what you have is obviously the most important.
But it's really about creativity.
Yeah.
Like you actually have a lot of opportunity to be creative here.
Yeah.
You don't have to bring an Iron Maiden bloody production or a Rammstein production. I mean, you see those things and you just want to actually quit.
Yeah.
You don't have to bring it, but bring something that makes you stand out from the average. And I think that's something which I've seen a lot within our local scene, is that a lot of bands are happy to just, peak with where everyone else has peaked.
Yeah.
And just ride the sort of average train. But when you see someone do something just that little bit extra, they put in a little bit of extra thought, a subtle layer of creativity, and they just stand out.
Yeah.
But it's because you have so many bands doing much the same thing.
Yeah.
That when you have one that does things just a wee bit different, they grab the public's attention and interest and engagement.
Does that work in all spaces of music, or does it only work in music spaces where that extra oomph is appreciated?
People are always looking for something unique. People are looking for unique experiences. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it works everywhere.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going to just do what everyone else is doing, regardless what space
you're gonna be
you
dull.
operate in, you're going to be boring. You're going to fade into the background.
Lost in the shuffle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think it's a genre thing. It's a human thing.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to go do that.
So to recap, stagecraft in general, I mean, taking last week and this week, it's just tips. Use it, don't use it.
Can you hear my brain exploding right now?
Take it where you can.
Sizzling.
But I think the main thing is to see your stage as not only a three-dimensional space, but a multi-dimensional space. And if you can come to us and say, we found a fifth dimension.
Wow, please.
Yeah.
Dudes,
can you imagine?
Send us your fifth dimension.
Yeah.
Over at our social media handles.
Yeah, we want to know about it. We want to see it in action.
Give us the information and we will share it with everyone.
Maybe people don't want that.
People don't. Okay, don't give us the information.
Yeah.
Don't. We're not. Yeah. Sharing is not.
I mean, if that gives you your competitive advantage, use it. Milk it.
Milk it, yeah.
Sooner or later, someone's going to figure out what makes you different and special, and then they're going to start doing it.
All this thinking has got me thinking. I need a cup of coffee.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go do that. Okay. And wow, Pat, you've just opened up a whole other can of worms in my head.
Well, thanks for not leaving permanently.
No.
At the beginning of the episode.
I wasn't going to leave you to do an episode by yourself.
Yeah.
No.
Oi.
No.
All right.
Never.
I think we're done, man.
Are we done?
Yeah. What are we going to chat about next time?
When? I don't know. Well, we'll just whatever. We'll just wing it.
We'll just whatever. Okay.
Just whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think we're done with stagecraft for now, but if you guys do have any questions, let us know and we'll talk about it more.
Yeah, no more morbid topics then. I don't want to talk about Facebook no more, man.
Yeah. Don't want to do that no more.
Anyway, thanks so much, guys, for listening to Sound Vibes. Gotta get pumped, but gotta go to gym now. Please give us your feedback on Blended Podcasts everywhere on social media. You can listen to this podcast everywhere where podcasts are available. And thank you so much for listening. We will see you. We'll never see you. We never see you.
We're not to fix that.
We're not a visual audio experience yet. Thank you, guys. Next time we'll be, I don't know.
We'll do something.
We'll do something and you'll listen and you'll like it. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to us ramble on about all things music and sound here on Sound Vibes, produced with the generous assistance of Blended Podcasts, brought to you by Blended Audio.